The galaxy watched Earth burn. Cities once filled with light were now ruins of smoke and ash. Towers that had touched the sky lay broken. Rivers were poisoned, skies turned black, and the cries of war echoed across continents. Above the planet, alien fleets circled like predators. Their ships were huge, dark shadows that blocked the sun. The invaders had crushed every defense, destroyed every human army, and silenced every broadcast. By all logic, the war was already over. Now the galaxy waited for the humans to do the last, expected thing, surrender. But days passed. Then weeks. No message came from Earth. The aliens expected begging, a voice pleading for mercy, perhaps even the surrender of Earth's leaders. Instead, there was only silence. No transmissions, no white flags, only the quiet hum of destroyed cities and the distant sound of alien engines above. That silence was louder than any scream. The invaders grew restless. Soldiers in orbit asked their commanders, "Why don't the humans surrender? Do they not know they have lost?" Rumors spread quickly through the fleet. Some said the humans were broken, too destroyed to speak. Others whispered something more dangerous. What if they are planning something? On alien ships, officers argued in private. To some, humanity was already finished, just another defeated species. But others remembered Earth's battles, how humans fought even when outnumbered, how they attacked even when defeat was certain. "They are not like other species," one alien captain muttered to another. "Most creatures beg when they lose. Humans, stay quiet." The silence of humanity began to feel unnatural. It was not the silence of defeat. It was the silence of waiting. Down on Earth, scattered human survivors moved like shadows. No great armies remained, but small groups of people still lived in the ruins. They hid in forests, caves, and underground tunnels. They spoke little, made no broadcasts, and left no clear sign of life. The aliens searched for them. Patrols moved through ruined cities, scanning for survivors. Sometimes they found nothing. Sometimes they found something worse, a destroyed squad, a burning vehicle, a message scratched into stone walls. "We will never bow." To the alien soldiers, these signs were terrifying. Who had killed their comrades? Where were the attackers? The humans seemed invisible, striking and then vanishing into the smoke. The alien commanders tried to dismiss these fears. They told their armies, "Do not fear. The humans are finished. They only delay the inevitable." But even as they spoke, doubt grew. Because no species in the galaxy had ever acted like this. When the Empire conquered other worlds, surrender always came quickly. Some species surrendered before the first battle was even over. Others tried to resist for a few days, maybe a few weeks. But in the end, fear always broke them. Humanity was different. They had lost their cities, their armies, even their skies. And yet, they said nothing. The silence became unbearable. One alien soldier, young and inexperienced, whispered to his commander, "Why do they not scream? Why do they not beg?" The commander had no answer. Another whispered, "Perhaps they are not broken. Perhaps they are waiting for the right moment." Those words spread like fire in the fleet. Whispers of human defiance reached every corner. The soldiers began to dream of shadows in the night, of eyes watching from the ruins below, of traps waiting in every street. Even the commanders could not sleep. They stood at the windows of their ships, looking down at Earth, wondering what the silence meant. And deep in their minds, a fear began to grow. What if humanity was not defeated? What if the silence was not weakness, but strength? The galaxy had seen countless wars, but never one like this. Never a species that chose silence instead of surrender. Never a species that turned defeat into mystery. The galaxy waited. And in that waiting, the invincible empire felt something it had not felt in centuries: fear. Because sometimes, silence is more terrifying than war, and the humans were very, very silent. The silence of humanity could not last forever. For weeks, the aliens circled Earth like vultures. They sent patrols into ruined cities, searching for survivors, searching for signs of surrender. Most times, they found nothing but smoke and broken buildings. Other times they found messages carved into walls. "Still here. Not done. We fight." But then, one night, the silence broke. It began with a supply convoy, far from Earth. In the blackness of space, an alien transport fleet was moving slowly. These ships carried food, weapons, and fuel for the army above Earth. They were heavily guarded by warships. The aliens believed they were safe. But safety was an illusion. From the shadows of an asteroid field, human ships appeared. Not great fleets, not mighty battleships. Small, hidden vessels. Old warships thought destroyed. Civilian craft turned into weapons. Scrap metal turned into fire. The humans struck without warning. Explosions ripped through the convoy. Supply ships burst into flame, one after another. Alien escorts rushed to fight back, but the humans did not fight like soldiers. They fought like predators. They attacked, vanished into darkness, and struck again from a different angle. When the battle ended, half the convoy was gone. The rest fled in panic. The humans left behind only silence and wreckage burning across the stars. For the aliens, this was more than a loss of supplies. It was a message. Humanity was still alive. Humanity was still fighting. On Earth, the attacks grew bolder. An alien patrol marched through the ruins of a once great human city. The streets were empty. The silence pressed on their ears. Then, without warning, the ground erupted. Explosives hidden beneath the rubble tore through the patrol. The survivors screamed for help. But the attackers were already gone. The aliens searched the ruins for hours. But they found nothing, only shadows moving too fast to follow. At first, the commanders called these attacks minor disruptions. But the attacks did not stop. Every day, more patrols disappeared. Every week, another supply depot exploded. The Empire had fought many enemies before, but none like this. Most species fought in great battles, armies clashing until one side broke. But the humans fought differently. They refused open battle. They hid, they waited, and they struck only when the enemy was weakest. One alien soldier spat in fear. "They are like ghosts. They do not fight fair." Another corrected him. "No, they fight to win." Soon, the attacks became impossible to ignore. On one night, in a captured city, the aliens set up a base inside a human skyscraper. They thought the humans would never dare to return to this place. They were wrong. At midnight, the building shook. Explosions lit the floors one by one, racing upward like fire through veins. The entire skyscraper collapsed, burying hundreds of alien troops beneath stone and steel. The humans had destroyed not only a base, but a symbol of alien power. The galaxy heard the story. Whispers spread from planet to planet. "The humans are not finished." Alien leaders grew frustrated. They had expected a quick war. They had expected surrender. Now they faced something far worse, a war of shadows. One commander shouted in anger, "Why do they not fight us openly? Why do they not surrender? What do they want?" But deep inside, even the commanders knew the answer. Humans did not want peace. They did not want survival. They wanted victory, or death trying. The galaxy watched with unease. Species who once feared the Empire began to wonder, if humans can resist, maybe we can too. But for the aliens still trapped on Earth, there was only fear. Because every time the sun went down, every time the wind howled through the ruins, they wondered, where are the humans now? Who will vanish next? The first strike had been made, and it was only the beginning. The aliens had expected the first strikes to be the last. They thought the humans had only a few desperate fighters left, just enough to cause trouble, but not enough to change the war. They were wrong. Every week the attacks grew. Convoys burned. Patrols vanished. Outposts were destroyed without warning. The Empire's soldiers began to feel hunted, as if invisible eyes watched them from every shadow. The commanders demanded answers. Where are these humans hiding? How do they strike and disappear so quickly? Scouts searched the forests, mountains, and ruins of the cities. They found tunnels carved into stone, old subway lines turned into bases, caves filled with stolen supplies. Humans lived like shadows beneath the earth. They were not gone. They were waiting. In the ruins of a fallen city, an alien squad moved carefully down a street of broken glass. Their scanners showed no life. Their commanders told them the city was empty, but the humans were there. A small group hid in the collapsed buildings, watching, silent as stone. They waited until the soldiers passed, then triggered their trap. Explosives tore the street apart. The aliens screamed as fire consumed them. When the smoke cleared, the humans were gone, like they had never been there at all. One alien survivor whispered in terror, "How do they fight like this? They have no ships, no armies, no weapons. Yet they kill us like hunters." Another answered in a trembling voice, "Perhaps the ruins are their weapons." The truth was worse. Humans had learned to turn weakness into strength. The forest became their shields. The mountains became their fortresses. The ruined cities became their traps. Every broken wall was a hiding place. Every shadow could hold an ambush. Every street was a battlefield waiting to explode. The Empire's machines, built for open war, struggled in these environments. Their heavy walkers sank in mud. Their scanners failed in caves. Their patrols vanished in forests where human eyes followed them from the trees. It was not just a war anymore. It was a hunt. And the hunters were human. Among the aliens, fear spread faster than fire. They had fought many species before. Proud warriors, clever tacticians, even entire empires. But no species had ever fought like this. Others surrendered when they were broken. Humans seemed to grow stronger. One alien commander confessed in a hushed meeting, "Every defeat makes them fight harder. Every loss makes them more dangerous. I do not understand this species." Another commander answered with bitter truth, "That is their strength." Far away in the silent halls of the alien empire, the rulers listened to reports. They expected news of surrender. Instead, they heard stories of ambushes, destroyed fleets and soldiers who refused to return to Earth. One official asked the question none wanted to answer. If humans are this dangerous when broken, what will they become if they rise again? The silence in the room was heavy. No one spoke. No one dared. Back on Earth, the humans continued to adapt. Scavengers turned alien weapons into tools of survival. Engineers in hiding learned to hack alien machines, using their own technology against them. Families in caves taught children how to remain silent, how to move unseen, how to fight when the time came. It was not just soldiers anymore. The whole species had become the resistance. A message spread from mouth to mouth, whispered in secret places. We are not defeated. We are only hidden. One night, an alien pilot flew above a ruined valley. His scanners picked up strange signals, brief flashes of light, faint heat signatures. He thought it was nothing. Moments later, his ship exploded in fire. The humans had rebuilt anti-air weapons from alien scrap, hidden them beneath rocks, and fired at the perfect moment. The pilot never had a chance. The aliens sent reinforcements. They found only wreckage. The humans had already vanished back into the Earth. The valley was silent again. The Empire called it cowardice. They told their soldiers, "The humans hide because they are weak." But the soldiers knew the truth. Hiding was not weakness. It was patience. It was strength, and every day that hidden strength grew more dangerous. The galaxy watched with uneasy curiosity. Species enslaved by the Empire whispered quietly to each other, "If humans can resist, maybe we can too." And the aliens themselves, though they denied it with words, began to feel something they had not felt in centuries. Doubt. Because the silence of the humans was gone now. It had turned into whispers, into strikes, into traps in the night. The humans had shown their hidden strength, and everyone knew it was only the beginning. Fear is a strange thing. It spreads faster than fire, faster than war, faster than death. And now, fear was spreading through the alien empire. At first, the commanders had dismissed the attacks as nothing. "The humans are weak," they told their soldiers. "Their tricks will not last." But the soldiers saw the truth with their own eyes. They saw comrades vanish on patrol. They heard the screams of convoys burning in space. They found bases turned to ash overnight. And worst of all, they never saw the humans who did it. The enemy was everywhere and nowhere. On Earth, alien camps were filled with nervous whispers. Soldiers checked their weapons twice before patrols. They jumped at shadows, at noises in the night. Some refused to go into the ruins at all. One young alien muttered to his officer, It is like the planet itself fights us. Every stone hides a trap, every street hides an enemy, the officer growled back. Do not speak such weakness. They are only humans. They are finished. But even the officer's voice shook. The fear reached higher ranks. Commanders argued in dark rooms. They had more soldiers, more ships, more firepower than any empire in history. And yet their great armies were being bled dry by shadows. One commander slammed his fist on the table. This is dishonorable! They do not fight us directly. Another replied coldly. Perhaps they are too clever to die in the open. Perhaps we are the fools. The words cut deep. No one spoke after that. Even in space, the fear grew. Fleets that once moved with pride now traveled in silence, scanning the dark constantly. Every asteroid field felt dangerous. Every faint signal could be a trap. An alien captain alone on the bridge of his warship confessed quietly to himself. The silence of humans was terrible. But this is worse, because silence could be ignored. But fear ate at the mind. Meanwhile, the humans grew stronger. They had no great cities left, but their spirit became their fortress. Every family in hiding, every child who learned silence, every fighter who struck and vanished, each became part of a growing resistance, and the aliens noticed something strange. The more they killed, the stronger the resistance became. The more they burned, the deeper humans hid. The more they tried to break Earth, the more Earth itself seemed to fight back. The Empire had crushed countless species before, but none had ever responded like this. It was unnatural. It was terrifying. The galaxy began to whisper. Other species enslaved by the Empire heard the stories. At first they did not believe them. How could humans, a small and broken race, fight against such power? But the rumors would not die. They spread from world to world. The humans still resist. The humans are dangerous. The humans fight even when defeated. To the oppressed, it sounded like hope. To the Empire, it sounded like poison. Back on Earth, an alien general made a speech to his troops. We are the Empire, he declared. We are unbreakable. These humans are nothing but insects. Do not fear them. But his words failed. The soldiers listened, but their eyes betrayed them. They remembered the ambushes, the explosions, the sudden deaths in the night. They remembered the silence before the strike, the shadows moving in the dark. The general's voice was strong, but their hearts were weak, because fear cannot be commanded away. One night, in a captured city, alien soldiers gathered around a fire for warmth. They spoke quietly, voices low, afraid of being overheard. Do you think the humans are still here? One asked. They are everywhere, another whispered. They cannot be everywhere, the first argued. They are too few. But the second soldier leaned closer, his eyes wide with terror. No, that is their trick. They are too few, and yet they make us believe they are many. The others fell silent. The fire crackled. Outside, in the ruins, the wind howled. Every soldier turned his head at once, listening, waiting, afraid. But there was nothing there. Nothing except fear. The Empire had once been the terror of the galaxy. Entire civilizations had bowed before their might. But now, for the first time in centuries, they themselves were afraid. Afraid of a broken world. Afraid of a species that refused to kneel. Afraid of the silence that came before every strike. And that fear was spreading through the armies, through the fleets, through the Empire itself. The humans had become more than a defeated race. They had become a nightmare. The Empire believed it had endless time. They thought humanity would fade away, burn out like a dying flame. But instead, something unexpected happened. The broken pieces of humanity began to come together. At first, survivors were scattered. Soldiers in hiding, families in caves, engineers in ruins. Each fought alone. Each resisted in silence. But slowly, whispers moved through the shadows. One message passed from mouth to mouth, from camp to camp. We are not alone. We fight together. Across continents, groups once divided found each other. Old enemies, nations that had hated one another for centuries, now stood side by side because the aliens had given humanity no choice. And so, For the first time in history, the human race became one. It began small. In the mountains, two rival human bands met in secret. They should have fought, but instead they shared food, weapons, and information. Together they ambushed an alien patrol, leaving only wreckage behind. In the forests, isolated villages joined with hidden soldiers. Farmers taught soldiers how to move silently through the woods. Soldiers taught farmers how to use stolen alien rifles. In the ruins of cities, engineers and scavengers worked side by side. From scraps of alien metal, they built bombs, shields, even crude machines. Every broken street became a workshop of war, and everywhere the message spread. We are one. The aliens noticed the change. Their patrols faced not just ambushes, but coordinated attacks. Entire squads of humans struck together, vanishing in minutes. Alien bases that once felt safe were burned in single nights. One commander screamed at his officers, "They were scattered!" They were broken. How do they strike like this now? An officer whispered the answer he did not want to believe. Because they are united. Above Earth, the Empire gathered its might. A great fleet assembled in orbit, thousands of ships, weapons glowing in the dark. The commanders planned to end the resistance once and for all. From space, they would burn the planet completely. No cities, no forests, no mountains would remain. Only ash. But as they prepared for the final strike, something changed again. The humans struck first. In the deserts of Earth, a massive alien base stood surrounded by walls and guns. It was meant to crush any resistance. But at night, the base erupted in fire. Humans had tunneled beneath the sand, breaking through the walls from below. Explosives lit the night sky. By morning, nothing remained but ruins. In the oceans, alien ships patrolled the waves. They laughed at the thought of human boats. But they did not laugh when human submarines, built from scraps and old technology, rose from the depths and destroyed entire fleets. Even in space, humans returned. Small, hidden vessels, built in secret caves and mountains, launched into orbit. They struck like knives, cutting into the Empire's great fleet before vanishing back into the shadows of Earth. The Empire had expected surrender. Instead, they saw a storm rising. The galaxy watched with shock. Species enslaved by the Empire listened to the reports in secret. They heard of humans fighting together, humans destroying fleets, humans refusing to die. And in that news, they saw something dangerous. They saw hope. Back on Earth, a captured alien officer confessed his fear before he was executed. His voice shook as he spoke. "You are not like the others. We thought you would bow. We thought you would beg. But you only grow stronger. Every loss makes you more dangerous. Every death makes you more united." "What are you?" The human commander gave the only answer that mattered. "We are humanity." The turning point had come. No longer scattered survivors. No longer silent shadows. Now humanity stood as one, and the Empire, for the first time, began to feel something it had never felt before in all its conquests. Doubt. Because the humans had shown a truth the galaxy would never forget. They would rather burn the stars than ever bow to a master. Night fell over Earth like a cloak of black steel. In the skies, alien warships glowed with cold light. On the ground, their armies moved through ruins and forests, searching for enemies they could not see. And in that darkness, humanity prepared for war. This would not be an open battle. The humans knew they could not match the Empire in numbers or power, but they did not need to. They had learned to fight in the shadows, and in the shadows, they were kings. The first strike came just before midnight. An alien patrol marched through a ruined city. Their scanners showed nothing. Their commander ordered silence. The soldiers stepped carefully across broken glass. Then the streets exploded. Mines hidden under rubble tore the squad apart. From the rooftops, human snipers fired with stolen alien rifles. In seconds, the patrol was gone. The survivors screamed for help, but no help came. By the time reinforcements arrived, the humans had already vanished. Far away, in a dark valley, an alien convoy rumbled through the night. Armored transports carried fuel and weapons. War machines marched beside them. The convoy never reached its destination. Hidden on the cliffs above, humans triggered explosives that sent boulders crashing down. The road became a trap. The machines were crushed, the transports overturned. And then the humans swarmed, attacking from every angle before disappearing into the rocks. The valley burned until morning, everywhere. The pattern repeated. In forests, humans struck with arrows, fire, and stolen weapons. In deserts, they built traps beneath the sand, swallowing entire squads whole. In mountains, they created avalanches that buried machines under tons of stone. No place was safe. No moment was secure. The Empire had brought its armies to crush a broken species. But now those same armies were being bled to death by shadows. The alien commanders grew desperate. They ordered their fleets to burn entire regions. Cities were reduced to ash. Forests were set on fire. Mountains were bombarded from orbit. But even in fire and destruction, the humans survived. One alien officer screamed in frustration, "They do not die! We burn their homes and they use the ruins as weapons. We destroy their cities and they turn the rubble into traps." "What are they?" His commander answered with dread in his voice, "They are humans." The fear spread deeper than ever before. Alien soldiers no longer trusted the silence. Every shadow looked dangerous. Every whisper of wind sounded like footsteps. Some soldiers refused to patrol at night. Others deserted, choosing the shame of running rather than the terror of fighting invisible enemies. Even the mighty Empire could not command away fear, because every soldier knew the truth. The humans were everywhere, and nowhere. Above Earth, the Great Fleet tried to hold control. Warships filled the skies, their guns ready to burn the planet. But then the humans struck again. From hidden bases, they launched small ships, patched together from scrap, armed with stolen weapons. These ships were not strong. They were not many, but they were fast. They darted between the Empire's massive cruisers, too quick to hit. They fired at weak points, crippling engines, tearing holes in armor. They struck and vanished, leaving confusion and fire behind. The Empire had the numbers. The humans had the shadows. And in the shadows, the Empire was blind. The galaxy listened in silence as reports spread. Entire fleets humiliated. Armies destroyed by invisible enemies. A planet that refused to bow even when broken. Other species whispered, "If humans can fight the Empire, maybe we can too." The Empire had wanted to crush Earth as an example. Instead, Earth had become a symbol, a spark of rebellion that could not be extinguished. In the ruins of a city, a human commander spoke to his fighters. "We cannot fight them face to face," he said. "But we do not need to. We are the shadows they fear. We are the fire in the ruins. We are the ghosts in the dark. Every step they take, we are watching. Every place they walk, we are waiting. They think we are weak. But in the night, we are stronger than them all." The fighters nodded. In their eyes burned the same fire that no empire could kill. The battle raged on through the night. The Empire unleashed fire and destruction. Humanity answered with silence and steel. The ruins shook with war. The skies burned with light. But when dawn came, the humans were still there, not broken, not surrendered, still hidden, still fighting, still strong. And the Empire realized with horror that the war was no longer about conquering Earth. It was about survival. Because in the shadows of a dying world, humanity had become something new, something unstoppable. The Empire was not used to fear. For thousands of years, its fleets had crossed the stars. Planets fell before them. Species surrendered without a fight. Resistance never lasted long, but Earth was different. Instead of surrender, they found silence. Instead of weakness, they found shadows. And now, after months of endless losses, the mighty Empire itself began to crack. In the grand halls of the Empire's capital, alien leaders shouted at each other. "We brought half our fleets to Earth," one commander roared. "Yet the humans destroy them piece by piece. They fight like animals," another spat. "No honor, no open battle. They strike and vanish. How do you defeat an enemy that refuses to be seen?" The Supreme Chancellor slammed his clawed hand on the table. His voice shook the chamber. "You do not defeat them. You erase them. Burn their world until nothing is left." But deep down, even he knew. They had tried. and failed. Across the galaxy, whispers grew louder. The Empire had always promised protection to the smaller species. Obey, and you will live under our shadow. Resist, and you will burn. But now, the galaxy saw a new truth. A single broken world had stood against the strongest empire, and it had not fallen. Some species watched with awe. Others began to dream dangerous dreams. If humans can fight, why can't we? On Earth, the humans heard the rumors too. Secret transmissions, smuggled by hidden friends, carried the words across ruined cities and mountains. Others are watching you, one message said. You are not just fighting for Earth. You are fighting for all of us. For the first time, humanity understood. Their war was no longer only about survival. It was about hope, and hope was more dangerous to the Empire than any weapon. The Empire tried to tighten its grip. They brought new fleets, even larger than before. Soldiers marched in endless waves. Orbital cannons rained fire from the sky. But the harder they pressed, the stronger humanity became. Traps grew sharper. Ambushes hit deeper. Raids struck across space itself. Human fighters boarded alien ships, planting bombs before vanishing into the stars. Every victory, no matter how small, echoed across the galaxy. The Empire wanted fear. Instead, they spread inspiration. Inside the Empire's armies, cracks appeared. Young soldiers began to question their orders. Some whispered that the humans were not demons, but survivors. Some wondered why they were ordered to destroy families hiding in ruins. A few even deserted, vanishing into the forests of Earth, leaving their weapons behind for humans to find. The Empire's leaders saw the danger. Doubt was spreading, and doubt could shatter armies faster than bullets. One night in the heart of the capital, a secret meeting was held, not of commanders, not of generals, but of the leaders of other enslaved species. Hidden in dark chambers, they spoke quietly. The Empire bleeds, said one. Earth has shown us the truth, said another. If humans can wound the beast, perhaps together we can kill it. For the first time in centuries, rebellion was no longer a dream. It was a plan. Back on Earth, a human scout returned from a mission with stolen data. He handed it to his commander. These files, the commander whispered. They show the Empire's weakness. Supply lines, hidden factories, slave worlds that keep their war machine alive. The humans gathered around the fire that night, studying the maps, tracing the paths of stars. This war would not end on Earth. It would spread across the galaxy. The Empire felt it too. From the throne, the Supreme Chancellor looked into the stars with burning rage. These humans will be the end of us, he hissed. If they live, the galaxy will no longer fear us. And if the galaxy does not fear us, we are already dead. He ordered the ultimate weapon prepared, something so terrible it had only been whispered about. A weapon meant to not only destroy humanity, but erase the very idea of resistance. And so the galaxy waited, trembling between hope and terror. Would the Empire unleash a storm so great that no one could survive? Or would humanity, broken but unyielding, strike the final blow first? The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, because the war was no longer about one planet. It was about the future of the entire galaxy. The Empire's fleets filled the skies like endless black wings. Their warships stretched from horizon to horizon, blotting out the stars. On every channel, alien commanders declared the same words. This is the end of humanity. No survivors, no surrender, only silence. They had brought their ultimate weapon. A weapon not meant to conquer, but to erase. If unleashed, it would turn Earth into a lifeless rock, its people into dust, and its story into nothing. The Empire wanted more than victory. They wanted memory itself to die, but humanity was ready. In the ruins of old cities, in mountain caves, in hidden bases under the oceans, humans prepared their final stand. Every fighter knew the truth. They might not live to see tomorrow. But they also knew something greater. If they held the line, they would not be forgotten. The galaxy was watching, and the galaxy needed them to fight. When the first wave of ships entered orbit, humanity struck first. Missiles hidden beneath rubble screamed into the sky, hitting alien transports before they could land. Small fighter craft, patched together from scraps, launched into space, weaving through the massive fleet like hornets. On the ground, soldiers and civilians fought side by side. Every street was a barricade, every rooftop a sniper's nest, every ruin a trap. The Empire expected surrender. Instead, they found fire. The ultimate weapon slowly descended from the flagship. It looked like a black sun, its core glowing with deadly light. Alien priests chanted in their language, calling it the eternal silence. Once fired, no life would ever return to Earth. The humans saw it. They knew what it meant, and still, they did not run. A young commander named Elena stood before her people. Her voice was steady, but her eyes burned with fire. "They want us erased," she said. "But we will not give them silence. We will give them a roar so loud the stars themselves will carry it." Her words spread through radios and whispers, from trench to bunker, from mountain to sea. Across Earth, humanity roared back. For Earth! For freedom! For the galaxy! The final battle began. Alien armies poured onto the planet in endless waves. Humans fought with everything: bullets, blades, fire, and their own bare hands when nothing else remained. In the skies, small human ships sacrificed themselves to strike at the weapon, crashing into its shields, tearing pieces away with every desperate hit. On the ground, hidden teams pushed deeper and deeper, cutting through enemy lines, carrying explosives toward the black sun itself. The cost was terrible. Cities vanished in fire. Whole squads gave their lives in seconds. But step by step, the humans closed in. Then came the moment. The weapon began to charge. Light spread across its core, bright enough to blind. The Empire's fleet pulled back, afraid of the very power they had unleashed. The galaxy watched in silence, believing Earth's end had come. But in that silence, a single human voice spoke across every channel. Breaking through jammers and static, "We are humanity. We do not kneel. We do not break. And we do not die quietly." The final strike team reached the weapon's heart. With their last strength, they planted the bombs, set the charges, and gave a single message: for the galaxy. The explosion shook the skies. The black sun cracked apart, its deadly light collapsing in on itself. A shockwave tore through the Empire's fleet, ripping ships apart, scattering others into chaos. The eternal silence had been silenced forever. And in that moment, the Empire's greatest weapon became their greatest defeat. The galaxy erupted in flames of rebellion. Across slave worlds, chains were broken. Across hidden colonies, armies rose. The Empire's fleets, once feared, now ran in retreat. Humanity had done more than survive. They had lit a fire that no empire could ever put out. On Earth, survivors crawled from ruins. Their cities were broken, their numbers small. But when they looked to the sky, they no longer saw darkness. They saw freedom. And somewhere, in the ashes of war, a new voice whispered, "The humans did not surrender. They chose war. And because they chose war, we are free." The story of Earth would echo for generations, not as the tale of a fallen world, but as the legend of a species that refused to kneel. The galaxy would remember the day the Empire shattered, the day humanity roared against the silence, the day humans proved that hope was stronger than fear.